Alright guys, today we're here to talk about my top 10 tips and tricks for the Oculus Quest that we have here. We're going to go through some things that a lot of people have been asking a lot of questions about, some tips and tricks that I've learned while using this device in the last couple of months that I want to tell you guys about. So we're going to go ahead and run through those now to give you guys as much information as possible on the Oculus Quest before you guys make your purchase decisions. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a recce is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, welcome to our video here for the Oculus Quest. Today we're going over the top 10 tips and tricks that I have for you guys. For those of you guys who already own the Oculus Quest or have gotten it in the last few weeks, we have some tips and tricks for you guys to, be able to use the device better, some different options that you guys have that you guys may not know about. So we're going to go ahead and get into this video right now. So we're going to start at number 1. These are not in any sort of order from top rated chip till the bottom. It's just top 10 in general. So let's start from the number 1. And the number 1 thing about this that a lot of people like to do immediately as soon as they get their Quest is, of course, they want to take it outside. I've taken mine outside, but you guys have to know that if sunlight hits these lenses in any sort of way, even if it's for 5 seconds, it could be that short, it will permanently damage these lenses completely. It will literally leave a mark across the lens and you won't be able to see out of it. It will be like a burn-in on the actual lens and you won't obviously be able to see from it. So if you want to take it outside, first of all, be very careful. It's obviously not recommended by Oculus in any way, but if you're going to do it, make sure that what I did is I usually go out when the sun's about to come down, so an hour and a half before sunset. I went out there because it's a perfect time, because first of all, if you take it out in bright sunlight, completely bright, it won't even work because the tracking won't work with bright sunlight hitting it. Even if you have this on your head and you're walking outside so it doesn't hit the lens, you're still not going to be able to, it's not going to be able to track well. So you need to go out there when it's a gloomy day, when it's completely cloudy, or when it's the sun's about to set. And the problem is that even when it is cloudy, obviously sun rays still go through there, so you still don't want to go out there doing this, even if you see only clouds outside, because there have been people who have damaged their headsets in that way as well. So, like I said, it's fun to take it outside. I've used it outside with Sports Scramble. If you guys have heard of Sports Scramble, there is a tennis game on there, and it actually lets you map to scale. So you actually run around the full entire tennis court back and forth. It's something everybody needs to try at least once, especially if you own that game. But you obviously need a lot of room, so obviously I did it in my backyard. So I went out there when the sun was already setting. It's on the opposite side of my house, which was perfect. I went outside, I put this on, and obviously the tracking was flawless when there was no sunlight, and it was dusk, and it was just a whole lot of fun. So something you guys should definitely try, but there are caveats with it, and you need to be extremely careful with the lens when you go out there. If you guys want to be even more careful, start pass-through on the thing, put it on your head before you even walk outside, and leave it on your head, and then obviously use pass-through to get to where you need to be in your backyard, because you can see through the camera and situate yourself and do it that way. That's how I did it, just to be extra safe. So that is tip number 1 on how to use the Quest outside and be careful with it, and what the caveats are with it. At number 2, what I would like to talk about here is on the Oculus Quest here, there is 2 audio jacks on here. So obviously this Oculus Quest has built-in audio, but obviously a lot of us like to take it the extra step because obviously it doesn't get very loud, especially when you play games like Beat Saber and stuff like that. You want it to get even louder. So what I did, so like I said, there's one on this side and one on the other. They're both 3.5mm jacks. They both do the exact same thing. But when you're wearing the headset like this and you obviously have it on your head like this, what you want to be able to do is you don't want to plug the headphone jack right into here. You want to plug it into here because if you have your headphone on, now you can wrap the short cable around your neck and kind of leave it right here and dangle it on the right side. And here comes the tip and trick. Get a short, I believe it's a 1.5 meter cable. 3.5, they're literally like $6 on Amazon. Get one of those so it's really short. So you're going from the headset that you're using right here, and you're going around your neck, and you're plugging it into this side of the headset right here, and then you're golden. It's only 1.5 millimeter, so they won't be smacking you while you move around the Quest and stuff. It's the perfect length. 1.5 millimeter cable is what you actually want to get. If you guys need a link to the one I bought, that will be in the description below. On the exact cable I bought that has worked flawlessly for me with no issues. So you'll see that in the description below. The next thing we're going to get into is casting your actual gameplay so people can actually see what you're playing. Now, you could do it through your phone. A lot of people know that you can use the Oculus app on your phone to actually, while you're playing this, if you want to show somebody VR, this is the perfect way to actually be able to see what they're looking at. And you can just go on the Oculus settings, and you go to casting, and then you just walk right into there, and you know, obviously start casting to your phone, and you can see on the phone exactly what they're seeing. But unfortunately, on the phone, you don't actually get audio, so you won't hear or see anything that they're actually doing. So that is something to keep in mind. If you actually want to get audio so you can fully see what they're doing, that is where the Chromecast comes in, and it only supports Chromecast Gen 3. So keep that in mind. You need it to support the Gen 3 Chromecast for it to actually work. And when you got that hooked up, then you can obviously go onto the phone app. You go onto the phone app again, and you go to casting on your phone, and then you're going to see the Chromecast show up, and you select the Chromecast, and you throw it right onto there, and then you're good to go. And then you'll be able to get the full audio. It will go obviously through your TV speakers, and they'll hear the audio separately on their Quest as well. And everything works great, and then you can walk the person easily through VR. It's a great way to show someone new to VR, because you can actually see what they're looking at and all that stuff. So, and it's cool that it's on the phone too, because if you're out on the go and you're trying to show someone it works really well, you just tap it and you see the exact Quest on the phone. So it's a really cool feature to have to show new people VR. The next thing we want to talk about on the Oculus Quest is recording. Obviously, on the Oculus Quest, you can record to share your own content, which I've done obviously on this channel before, where I've done reviews. And there's a couple of problems with it that have been plaguing it actually for a while now. It's gotten a little bit better with previous updates, but it does still happen every once in a while where the audio sync when you record on the Quest is actually delayed. So when you actually record on here and you record the gameplay and then you transfer it to your computer, you're actually going to get some sort of delay on there, and that is obviously unfortunate. So you want to go ahead and correct that and make sure that you actually, you know, go back into whatever app you use. I use LumaFusion on the iPad. You can obviously use Adobe Premiere or Sony Vegas, whatever you guys use to edit your videos. And it's usually like a 1 to 3 second delay. So when you're seeing the audio not match up to your actual hitting of the buttons in the game, know that there's like a 1 to 3 second delay usually on some of the videos that you're recording on the Oculus Quest. And it still hasn't been fully fixed, so that's something to keep in mind as well. And keeping with the exact same thing, when you take this Quest, there's a current issue on it as well. When you actually go onto the Quest and you record, and you only have one video, let's say that I don't have any videos saved on the Quest, and I go ahead and I record a video and I save it on the Quest, and then I connect it, you know, with the included USB-C cable to USB, I plug it into my computer, and you obviously go into the Oculus folder, and you drag the folder out, and you drag the video out onto your computer. 99% of the time right now, it is actually corrupting the video file. It's actually showing that you can't play it. It won't play in any video file, VLC media player, any of that won't actually play the video. What you need to do is you need to actually, it's a weird glitch, but you actually go back, and before you actually connect it, if you record one video, go into your Quest and record like a it doesn't need to be any certain length. Record a 2 second, 3 second, whatever, a really short video of just sitting on the dashboard on the Quest, just on the main screen, record a video, stop it after 4 or 5 seconds, whatever it may be. And then when you go back on your computer and you connect it, just drag those two files when you're on there. Don't copy or paste them or anything. Just literally highlight them, drag them onto your desktop, and they'll both come over, and there you go. It's on there, and both of them are not going to be not corrupted. So you don't have to re-record the video. Don't get nervous that like the video got corrupted when you made it or recorded on the Quest like I did the first time. All you have to do, like I said, is record a 3 second video on the Quest, and then you'll be able to, when you have those two video files on there for whatever reason, the bug goes away, and you drag those two video files at the same time together on the PC, and then both video files come back without any issues. So tip and trick for you guys on that, because I had a lot of problems with that for a while now, and we were able to figure that out. The next thing that I'm going to talk about here is the lenses, and I actually have a lens right here that's actually sitting on my Quest, and I got these from Winmo. You can see that these are lenses. Obviously, I'm a person who wears glasses, and these lenses are awesome, and actually, these are actually interchangeable with the Rift S and on the Quest for me. I haven't had any issues because I set it 67 for my IPD, so it works perfectly, and I can just set the IPD for here and there, and it works fine for me, so I can actually swap them back and forth. But these pop on really easily. You put them in there, and then you obviously don't need glasses in there, and it just makes the experience for people who wear glasses so much better, because now you don't have to obviously wear glasses, and you don't feel the glasses on you, and you feel a little bit less pressure on your face, because obviously it's comfortable, but you can feel the glasses on you, and there's a little bit of pressure on there, and now you can get even closer to the lens if you want to with the headset strap and stuff. So Winmo prescription lenses, I think they run for like $69 to $89, depending on if you need certain features on there. But check them out. They're really awesome. These came in and they work beautifully. The prescription lenses that I have work awesome in there. I can see without glasses, and it feels weird to be able to go in there without glasses and not feel anything on. And So it's just awesome. For people who wear glasses, it's something I think you guys should take a look at if you're serious about VR. The sixth thing we're talking to talk about, and unfortunately I don't have it with me anymore because I think I may have misplaced it, but when you get the Oculus Quest, it does come with a glass spacer that you can kind of put in between here. So if you do wear glasses, it gives you a little bit of more room. Like I was talking about, I never actually needed it. That's why I never put it on here. But some people do need it depending on the size of the glasses and stuff. But obviously you do lose a couple of degrees of field of view because obviously your head is a little bit further away from the lens. So you're losing a little bit more of that field of view. So that's why I chose against it and wanted to try without it. I didn't need it. So my recommendation is if you're going to use glasses, try it without the lens spacer and see how it is. Make sure you're not hitting your glass lens on top of that lens so it doesn't scratch the lens or anything, because you definitely don't want that. And if it doesn't and you feel comfortable with it, then don't use it, and then you'll get a couple of more degrees of FOV. But if you're not, the glass spacer is included in the box, and losing a couple of degrees of FOV isn't the end of the world if you need to use that. So now for the people, as number 7, for the people who are talking about which one they should get, either the 64 gig or the 128 gigabyte model. Just so you guys know, each game so far that has been released on there goes from anywhere from small, from less than a gig, and usually the highest I've seen is around 2 gigs. So you're not going to see like 8 gig games on here or anything like that. Most of them hover between, like I said, 1 to 2 is the sweet spot for most of the games, with a couple of them reaching over 2 gigs as well. So if you're looking between the 64 gig and the 128, that kind of gives you an idea that you can probably fit anywhere about 50 experiences or so. Obviously more depending on what it is. I'm just giving you even if every game was a gig, when some of them are smaller, like I said, you can fit about obviously like 50 or 55 of them on there. So that gives you an idea on which one you wanted to choose. I chose the 128 gig because I didn't feel like uninstalling things, and I've installed basically every app on the App Store so far. And purchased every game, and everything is installed, and I still have like about 50 gigs left or so, a little bit under 50 gigs. But that's what's installing everything on the store. That's not something most people are going to do. As a content creator, I obviously do that to try every game, but so most people I think are going to be fine with the 64 gig. Like I said, you can install a lot of stuff on there, and by the time you get to something you can install, you can probably uninstall some of the stuff you're not currently playing anymore. So if you want to save a little bit of money, you can doing it that way. As far as the battery life on this unit, it is 2 to 3 hours that you get when you're playing the Oculus Quest. You could use a battery charger on here. Many people have used. You can stick a battery in your pocket and connect a USB-C cable to the side. It's not like the Oculus Go. I haven't had any issues with it overheating or anything like that, where it said it got too hot and you continue playing it. I played it for hours with a connected battery charger and didn't have any issues at all. So that's definitely a positive over the Oculus Go that came before this, where you could technically do it, but then it gave you, warnings that the thing was overheating and it was about to shut down on you. That has not happened with the Quest. The cooling is obviously much better on here, so rest assured you can use a battery charger in your pocket while you're continuing playing it if the 2 to 3 hours ends up running out on you. I do it all the time, and many other people have as well. Not recommended by Oculus again, but it is something that a lot of people are still doing anyway and having no issues with. The only thing you do need to make sure is when you do buy a battery charger, it can't just be a regular old battery charger because then it won't charge. It needs to be at least 2.4 volts of 2.4 amps or higher. That way it will actually charge while you play, because if it's anything lower than that, the battery is going to just continue draining little by little, even though you have the charger plugged in, because it's not high enough to maintain you playing and charging it at the same time. So make sure you look for that voltage when you buy a battery backup. At number 9 here, one of the big things that a lot of people are doing on here, there is a lot of awesome things that this thing does, and Oculus is doing a great job, but there are some games that, Oculus wants to make sure that this is a family-friendly device and games work and all that stuff. It's a more curated store than what the Rift S is on the PC side, where you'll see a lot more experimental stuff. So what happens is some of these apps are getting denied, and some of these people want to play it and get these experiences anyway, even though Oculus will want them on the store. Well, there is a store on the PC called SideQuest. If you guys look that up, that's SideQuest. You can see it here on the screen. SideQuest is basically a store that you install on your PC, and it lets you basically download apps that haven't made it to the Oculus store for whatever reason. If Oculus denied them, or they're having a beta period and they want people to try it out, things like that. And you can install that on there, or you can install SideQuest on your PC. You connect this obviously to your computer. You download some apps. SideQuest is like basically has a store on there. You can install the APKs really easily on there. You just hit install, and then it syncs to your Quest. And then when you go to your library on your Quest, you'll see other apps on there that are installed, and you'll see the apps show up on there. So just so you guys know, there is other ways to get applications if you guys are looking to get other applications. Like I said, there's an app called SideQuest on there. Something you guys should look into if you're more into tinkering. That's not something I would probably recommend to people who are just starting with a Quest and aren't really tinkerers with PCs and stuff like that. But if you want to go that extra step and get even more apps that maybe are hitting the Quest right now or want to try some beta apps, that is a possibility. Download SideQuest on your PC. It's a really small application. Connect your Oculus Quest to it, and you can easily download some extra apps on there that aren't being allowed on the Quest right now. So there's some cool stuff on there. So definitely check that out. It's a simple process, but still, you need to have some IT back, some sort of PC knowledge basically to do this. But it's not hard at all. If you guys want to see a video of me going from the beginning to end on how to do SideQuest, put the comments down below, and I'll be glad to do a video on setting that up from beginning to end. The last thing we're going to talk about, and this question comes up a lot as number 10, and I still see this going around to this day, and that is using multiplayer when you have multiple devices. So what that means is I have a Quest, obviously, and I also have the Rift S. There are a lot of games on here that sometimes you buy, and you get them on both platforms for free now with this crossplay feature. So, for example, the game I was talking about before, Sports Scramble, if you buy it once, you get it on both. You get it on the Oculus Rift S on PC, and you get it on the Quest. So a lot of people's first question is, can you play the same game online with each other on the same account? And the answer 95% of the time is no, you can't. So I can't be logged on to my Oculus Quest on here with my account and then also use the PC and log on to my account and play those games, with me and my wife together online. 95% of the time that is going to fail because it's going to recognize that there's two accounts logged in at the same time, and that is not going to work. So obviously you need to have one account, and I would suggest the main account being on your Quest if you're set up like me, because obviously there's no way to switch accounts on the Quest right now. The only way to actually switch accounts is literally to wipe the device and start from scratch. So nobody wants to do that. On the PC, it's easy. You can just switch accounts. So I just have my wife's account on there and mine, and when we're both playing it, I just switch it to the other one. And then you can obviously play that way. So there is no way to do it. The 5%, the reason I say 95% is because there are a couple of apps out there that, like Rec Room, for example, even though the app is free, so you should probably just use a different account anyway, because why would you? But as a theory that I'm trying to explain to you, Rec Room, since it uses its own account when you log into the game and you actually create an account, when you open up Rec Room, it lets you play on the same account on both your Oculus and your Rift S, even though you're logged into the same account, because when you get into the app, you're creating a user-specific account for the app. So when you log into Rec Room, you can make an account for one person and then another account for someone else. So some of the apps do bypass and do let you do this, but like I said, 95% of the apps are going to tell you that, it's not going to let you find anybody online because it recognizes that there's two accounts logged in at the same time. So just to clear that up, that is how that works. If you guys have any questions about how that works, how multiplayer games work on the Oculus Quest and how you'll be able to use that, with two Quest or an Oculus Quest and a Rift S and stuff like that. That is how you can get that accomplished. You do need two accounts for most of the games signed in individually. So, if you guys have any questions about that or any questions about any of the tips and tricks that we talked about today, or if you guys want to see a full SideQuest video like I talked about from beginning to end and how to get that set up, leave those comments down below. And as always, guys, thank you guys for watching. Till next time.
Tech, gaming techie is the gaming tech, gaming techie, gaming tech. Eating brekkie is the gaming tech, going for a recce is the gaming